Jett Lawrence, 1-1 on the day to wrap up the title. I feel like a lot of times when you get to talk to a rider after they won a championship, there's usually the questions. It's like, man, I still haven't let it soak in. At least getting to watch the whole attitude of you coming up on the podium, seeing the crowd, getting handed the plates, seeing how you were behind the podium. I felt like you did get to let it sink in a little bit. You went through a lot of emotions.
Yeah, I think it's everything. This like I said just before with LeBig, it's all the flashbacks of going through hard times, all the struggles that we went through, just was going through my head as I went over the finish line, and the emotions just bucketed down on me. I couldn't hold in all the hard work we put in, all the things we've sacrificed with just trying to get food on the table, not having food on the table because we were broke, we're in debt. It was such just a struggle. I don't feel like it's, I don't wish for anyone to go through that. We had such a tough time as mentally and physically the whole time. So I think everything just bucketed down on me as I went over that finish line. Just the emotions came out.
So today, usually you guys get to cool down behind the podium a little bit. They put you right on the podium. You get the plate, you get the helmet, you get the Edison Dye trophy. The crowd is insane. Like, all I could think looking out is, just from what I've heard you guys talk about your story, I just imagine the acceptance you see from everybody, like how stoked everyone is for you. Just literally, I couldn't hear my own voice over the crowd. It was insane.
No, the crowd was stupidly loud. It was hard just to hear Will, who was right there next to me. It's crazy. We love the American fans. They've welcomed us with open arms. We live here now. Thankfully, they've welcomed us. Like I said, it's been awesome since we've been here. The fans have been great, and for them to welcome us like they have, it's an awesome feeling, and it's been great living here.
How was it when you got to go? I noticed when you went and sit behind the podium, you finally got to take a minute for yourself. There's a lot of us taking photos, but you got to hold. I seen you like kind of playing with the trophy, looking at it like this is mine. Like, damn.
Yeah, no, I just had to kind of just keep on touching it to make sure it's real. Really,
I know she had it, and you would be like, you touch it for a minute, sit down, touch it for a minute.
it was so hard to believe. Like I said, it's just like I was touching just to make sure it was real. Almost had to pinch myself.
So I remember coming in today, I was thinking about what I would ask you in this situation, and one of the questions I was thinking about was like, oh, where does this stack up? You've won now quite a few titles in a row. I would say based off seeing the emotion, hearing you talk about the family, the path, this is pretty close to the pinnacle. This has to rank up there as the highest.
I think it's definitely one of the highest. Just the way I've done it so far with being undefeated and being first year rookie season on 450. I think that's just the one biggest. I think it's definitely up there for the top, ranked number one for sure.
So last question for you. Now that this is out of the way, there's the perfect season and there's destinations. If I had to give you a choice, would you rather finish the year perfect or would you rather win destinations as Aussies?
I mean, I'd love to
have both. You might get both.
I'd love both, but I think if I had to choose more, it would be a perfect season because then my name would get up there with
Ricky
with the GOAT, Ricky, and obviously James also.
Again, it's one last thing I think it's so cool is having Stu back this year, Ricky in the booth. The only two other that've done it are commentating on your experience right now, and it's really cool to hear them back on the TV talk about that.
No, it's awesome having those guys in the booth. I would classify them as pretty good friends. We've got to have James over last and in the break. And it was awesome to chat with him. He's obviously, one cool thing we've talked about is cars. I mean, our family's a big car enthusiast people, and then obviously Ricky's his trainer's my trainer now, and Ricky's an awesome dude. We've gone cycling with him and that stuff, and it's just a really down to earth guy, and it's kind of cool to call those guys friends because at some point I never would have thought I would ever meet those guys, let alone just even meeting Ryan Dungey or Eli Tomac and having a chance to even race Eli Tomac. I never would have thought that in my life.
Heck, actually, Johnny O was with Stu for a year or so at one
yes,
point too.
and Stu also, yeah. Both trained both of those guys.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I said one more, last one. You talk about cars. I think last year when I asked you what, I can't remember, I think you said a car, but you win the title. Do you have something in mind you're going to reward yourself with?
I bought a car early this year, so sadly this money's got to go into investment. Hopefully it doubles to buy a car in the future.
There you go.
But no, I already got my two cars. I got my R8 and I got a Ferrari F12, so I'm happy enough with those.
Oh yeah, congrats to you, congrats to your family, everything you guys have been through.
Thank you.
Darren Lawrence, Dazzy.
Yes.
Congrats, sir.
Thank you.
I already got to talk to your youngest on his championship, and I feel like when I talk to a lot of riders after their championship, they don't get to absorb and soak it in. When we ask them, like, how are the emotions? They're like, I'm still trying to gather it.
Yeah.
I watched your son go through it, like behind the tent, just looking at the trophy, enjoying it. Your guys' story is amazing. You've been through a lot. Was it cool to see? I mean, not only the success, but one of the things that really struck me is Jett on the podium, the loudness of that fan base, everybody accepting him, loving what he's doing, what you guys have accomplished was so cool to see.
No, for sure. And I often say it to many of the fans that come and see us at the truck, like without them, our industry would be suffering. You know, these people that spend $50 to $80 to $100 to $120 on a ticket, that's what helps Unadilla track cover the diesel charges, cover machinery breakages, cover all that stuff. Like, so the fans in this sport don't understand how important they are to what we do. You know, they complete the circle. Without them, without the I talk about the privateers, like if they don't feel any love. Without them guys, it'd be pretty boring with 12 factory guys on the line. You know, they all impart, and I cringe when Jett and them complain about the privateers because they're coming up on them so fast and the poor guys are struggling with oxygen in their own brain and trying to pick the right line. I feel bad for them, but I do see it's like, guys, you got to pay more attention. But no, it's our fan base and the people that support our sport are so important, like in our industry, you know.
Yeah. Again, we've talked about a lot of your guys' path to get here. I mean, at the end of the day, how much has this exceeded your expectations? I'm sure you've stayed up at night. We've heard the stories again about you and your wife have put so much on the line to make this happen for them. I know you guys have dug so deep to make it happen. I'm sure you were praying for their success, hoping that all this would pay off, but this is paying off pretty big.
It is, and we did obviously question that many times in Europe, but I just came to the conclusion that if you get up every morning and you put 105% in every day, you cannot not succeed. No matter whether it's money or it's equipment, if you put in that effort every day, someone will see that effort, someone will give you the opportunity, and then someone will reward you with that, and then you can get on to good machinery and you can start to get the results. But no, definitely, just that hard work ethic is all we had that we could rely on, because that's all we had. We didn't have the money, we didn't have, you know, as what other people have had in a lot of times, but that's it's definitely proven in a gritty athlete, you know, with Hunter and Jett, where they'll never ever lie down, you know.
So the last couple of years has probably proven itself. You're getting to see everything unfold, all the reasons of why you guys went through this. Is there a point that ever stands out in your mind where, again, you said you've ever questioned it. Was there ever like a real singular point you can think about where, as a whole thing, it was like, man, maybe this isn't going to be worth it? Is there anything you ever look back on in motivation going, yes, we stood strong when everything was against us?
For sure. Europe was probably our biggest struggles because the money wasn't there. Europe, the MXGP costs so much money for the manufacturers to actually do the series. The athletes don't get the money that the American riders do, you know. So for us, cracking into that money in Europe was just not happening, you know. So we were going backwards and using all our savings up to like where we said, we end up getting down to zero, you know. So at that point, as a dad and as a mum, we discussed many times, did we make the right decision as parents? You know, did we chase a dream that was maybe unattainable, you know? So that was, we had many nights where we discussed that, you know, to see, hey, did we make the wrong decision, you know?
Yeah. One last one for you. I heard you referencing Unadilla equipment. I know you're very well versed in that with the farm and the setup. Again, you guys are going to go home. You're going to be back there Monday morning, working on the track, working on the practice bikes. You're watching your kids' success. You guys have the facility here now. You guys have a life and roots here and everything. I'm sure that's been pretty cool to show up to and go, man, we built all this.
Yeah, that is true. And without being cocky, it is, for a moment, you've got to go, wow, we are blessed. And I guarantee it is, I want to say more blessed because so many people put in the same effort we did and didn't make it. You know, so you still have to have that idea that, hey, we were blessed and we got some luck somewhere along the way, you know. So never ever forget that, because there's many people in this world that have put in the same work we've done and they still got denied, you know. And that's where Hunter got to that time at Loretta Lynn's. Like, he didn't even crash and his shoulder popped out and he was like, wow, maybe this just ain't for me. I've just been denied, you know. So I say that to everyone in the world out there, any kid, any family, any parent out there that's just struggling with the way, please just stay the course. You have to eventually succeed, you know?
Yeah. So I think coming into this weekend, for a lot of people, it was cool that Honda sponsored the event with what was upcoming with your brother. 450s went first. You might have been one of the very few people that was a little tougher on, because your brother wins championship. Your brother, your family story is amazing. I know you probably would have immediately wanted to celebrate with it, but you had to go get your head in the game. Was that a little bit tough?
I mean, it is, but it isn't. You know, he come over and he was, he was wailing and crying. I'm like, don't get too emotional on me. I got to go race. I got to pick my gate right now, actually. So, no, epic. I mean, epic. Like, looking back since we moved to America, like, I mean, how can you not like it? I mean, what the kid's achieved. He turned 20 last week. What else do you say? Like, it's epic. When he wins, I win. That's how it feels. It's my blood out there. Regardless of what anyone says. Why I wear the shirt up on the podium for me. Yeah, it's cool, whatever. But today's about him, And all the naysayers, everyone that was just preying on his downfall every week. Week in, week out. This is the week he gets beat. This is the week he gets beat. All that stuff. And then he goes out with a 1-1. Pressure, what's that?
No.
So
I wouldn't know
epic.
I look at him, but it was so cool to see him. I mentioned to him, I even mentioned to your dad, like, I feel like most of the time when you talk to somebody after they won a title, they're saying like, it hasn't sunk in yet. I watched your brother go through a pretty huge range of emotions, and I told your dad, I thought one of the coolest things is there has been a little bit of talk lately about like how fans perceive you guys or receive you guys. The amount of roar I heard out of people of him on the podium, I couldn't hear my own thoughts. Like, it's so cool to see what you guys have been through, and at the highest level of the sport, see you guys accepted and people enjoy what you guys do in the show you put on.
Yeah, I mean, it's people, they see today. They see Q1, Q2, and the motos, right? They don't see from when we clock in and clock out. They don't see after hours. They don't see what our dinner conversations are. It ain't about the football match that happened. I can assure you, it's every day from, till we open our eyes to where we close them. It's just every minute, every day. It's so invested. So, I mean, yeah, it's healthy, that release after, and it's beautiful. I mean, why do you have that emotional release? It's because you're so damn emotionally invested in this life, and people don't see it. They see the easy side of things, I wish they could see everything, the shit times, honestly.
Yeah, it was really cool talking to your dad. I mean, we talked about some of the lowest moments, the motivation to get here. He gave a lot of advice to parents when I talked to him. I thought it was really cool. However, again, a lot of this is talking about your brother, but you also had an amazing day. I feel like we talk about a lot with your championship run right now. Yeah, Jett's on paper looks easy because of the 1-1s. Again, the work people don't see. It's insane. You've had it tough, like your whole road of your pro career this season, between the first turn pop, the bike issue. I mean, your brother won today. You had a solid 2-2 for a win. Finally, I would say luck breathed more on you. Hayden had a bike issue, which you've had one this year, so to me that's pretty fair, dead even. So, I mean, you seem pretty relaxed. I imagine today's got to be a nice day to walk away from the job going, this actually worked out pretty good.
Yeah, for sure. No, it was a good day. I got myself into a position the second moto where I knew I did what I needed to. Don't risk it. I wasn't feeling the track. It was a little sketchy, and just brought it home, man. Like, it's good. On to the next two. Yeah, we have a cushion, but yeah, I mean, obviously it sucks for him. It's a bummer. I was looking forward to it. It's wild to think, hey, I had another DNF and the 7 points, from a high point. So, and I was still in with a shot. So, it's just keep doing my thing, and we'll hopefully get to Ironman and be dialed.
Nice. Jesus, these guys crack me up. Gee, I lost my train of thought. Last one, are you going into, you still have a championship run here, but I think something I'm talking about destinations already because I'm stoked on it. You're looking forward to this year. We kind of talked about earlier, I think you guys have a couple options. Jay's over here performing well. I'd love to see him go with you guys. You and your brother, of course, have a lot of momentum behind it. You guys have a legit shot. Somehow, I feel bad. You're countrymen. Ozzy always has a little bit of a tough time at destinations, but again, you guys are going to put your best foot forward. I know it.
Oh, gee, yeah, gee.
Hey, all part of the crew that makes this happen.
Exactly, dude. So true. Like, it's not just us; it's everyone. But back to nations. No, we're looking forward to it. It's so rad to see Jay over here. Like, see his wife Misty again. I haven't seen him for so long, and now their daughter Poppy. It's the first time I've actually met Poppy, so that was rad. It'd be cool to go with him, and it's cool. He gets through the American stuff now. Obviously, he's got a really important role with Yamaha of Japan, so it's cool to catch up with him, a good buddy, someone I respected and looked up to a lot back in Australia. So, but yeah, dude, I mean, it's going to be a sick trip in France. The French will be strong. They're already really strong. Yep. Adding that home soil, it does help them. It does give them a little extra push. So we're looking forward to it.
Cool. One last question for you. Talking about crew, you've got, of course, we'll see you, your brother, your dad at the races. G's an important part of you guys' crew. You have your missus, you have your mom at home, your guys' brother Tate. Like, who are some other people we don't know about that kind of make this happen for you guys every day? It's a part of your guys' core group.
Our practice mechanic, Renee, back home in Florida, works really hard. Michael Byrne also works really hard on the farm and stuff with us. So they're two you guys probably don't see. I'm trying to think. I mean, all of our team, everyone, we invest in the people around us, you know? Like, I think that in anything in life, not just in racing, but if you invest in the people around you and, you know, you embrace them and they're like family to us and it all just comes together. So it's cool.
I know you and your family take really good care of your guys' race mechanics. I know this whole thing, like, they lived in Marietta. You guys helped them get, like, a local area to work in California and play as close to them. Again, you guys invest in the people around you.
Absolutely.
They've helped you guys make it happen. Congrats on everything. We got 2 more good rounds to watch you get it done.
Sir.
But enjoy your guys' festivities tonight.
Thank you. Appreciate it, mate.